Alcovy High School opened in the fall of 2006 as a way to relieve the student population pressure on Newton and Eastside high schools. Located on Highway 36 between the city of Covington and Jackson in Butts County, Alcovy High School has had to build its own identity.
We are geographically isolated from the rest of the county. You have Newton High School, who has the tradition, has the name. It's the name of the county. It's the school. So they've always had a fan base. Then you had Eastside, who came in and is right there in the city and has very good business connections. We have a couple gas stations and a couple restaurants and some farms. So a lot of people in Newton County proper don't know a lot about Alcovy. So it's been a struggle to try and make those inroads with the city.
Pride and grit were the only way the Tiger football team would break onto the scene in Georgia football.
Back when I was in 9th grade, hey, that's where I'm gonna be going, and it was nothing but a dirt pile. I lived and breathed Alcovy football when I was here. So it was everything for me.
They said that if you were a junior or senior, you could stay at your school. So they didn't force the best players from Eastside or Newton to come to Alcovy. So we started a program, a full varsity schedule with sophomores and some guys that were trying to make a name that maybe didn't make a name at Newton or Eastside and wanted to make a name for themselves. And so it was kind of a band of misfits, trying to come together and start a program.
A lot of us were kind of upset about coming over here because we won the championship there when we were freshmen, but there were several of us, like Gordon Allen came over, Malachi Outlaw, running back, came over. I'm sure I'm missing some other guys, but we were out there at Sharp and we didn't even have a weight room.
Alcovy football was off to an interesting start, but persevered to try to compete.
When the school opened, our weight room was not finished yet, and we didn't have our certificate of occupancy. So we were trying to work out at Sharp Stadium, and we were carrying buckets of sand up the stadium and swinging bats at tires and things like that.
Despite the auspicious start, the Tigers fought on the field.
As far as football goes, we've had some success. Coach Hoffman did a good job of starting this program.
When I got here in 10th grade, that was the first year the school was open. We went 0-10. Second year as a junior, we went 2-8.
Alcovy's first win came against the most unlikely opponent.
First win in Alcovy history, man. We beat Newton, and we dogged them. And we were out there. We were hyped up, amped up. A lot of those guys that were on the other team, we had played with or played against for years. And it was just, it was always that trash talk going back and forth, especially with that county rivalry. And social media wasn't such a big factor back then. So usually it was talking going on like at the grocery store, at the barber shop and different things like that. So actually getting that win and it being against Newton was it had to be the best feeling of my junior year for sure. Better than junior prom, and I had fun junior prom.
Just getting that first win, it was one of the greatest feelings in the world, especially for the guys that had gone 0-10, started the program, and to get that first win against a local team was huge and just so inspiring just to see the happiness and the hugging and the that went on after that game.
Alcovy's second win was just as important.
The second win, we beat Rockdale, which was also cool. Not as big as beating Newton. When we beat Rockdale, we were at a point where we knew we should have won more games at that point. We were in a couple games, a couple close ones during that season, and just beating Rockdale, it kind of lifted that burden off of us, letting us know that, hey, we can beat somebody other than Newton. We can beat other teams. We had come close, but we hadn't really accomplished that goal yet. So beating them was also a plus.
It took Alcovy 3 years to get to a 500 record and their first playoff berth.
Like I said, we came a long way. We went from going 0-10 to going 2-8, and then going 5-5 our senior year, which that was a big deal to us, to go from going 0-10 to being a 500 team.
And we went to the playoffs in the third year and went down to Thomas County Central and almost won that game. It was one play away.
Alcovy football has had success in preparing athletes for the next level.
We sent guys on to play college football. We had an All-American at Furman named Gary Wilkins. We had an All-American at Duke named Devon Edwards. We've got one right now that's about to have a breakout year at Appalachian State in Ocon Godwin. We've got guys that have gone. We've got guys from West Georgia. We've got guys from Tusculum. We've got them that have gone on to play. So there are successes. This past signing class, we had 6 that have signed on to go play college football. And so there are some good football players here that you know, and hopefully we're bringing that out to the light of the people. You know, the county and the community are starting to get behind this team a little bit.
Longtime assistant coach Chris Edgar was announced as the new head coach, replacing Kirk Hoffman, who started as the head coach in 2006. Some say it was time for a change.
I can honestly say that these guys weren't 1-19 these 2 seasons before we got here because of the talent level. It wasn't because of the kids. It was because of the culture.
There was just darkness around the program.
Long journey, lots of ups and downs.
Everybody doing their own thing. Like the coaches tell them to do this, do that. They was like, nah.
It was tough. It was hard on coaches. It was hard on players. It was hard on the school.
Make the playoffs and then win a playoff game. We have the talent to do it.